What's up, y'all? It's your boy Juice. We're back for another episode. Really the first official episode of Behind the Lens with Juice. Of course, shout out my boy Aaron Stiff, AEMedia. Got some good content on the way for y'all. Today, we're going to talk about credit. A lot of times, within my business or just within, natural conversation, a lot of times people ask me, how do I build my credit? How do I fix my credit? How do I do some of these things that they see other people doing? So, I'll give you guys some tips and tricks and strategies on, how to build your credit, even if you're building from scratch. So let's get into it. So building credit from scratch. A lot of times that's what people ask me. A lot of times people starting from, zero, never really having anything in their name, things of that sort. So there's a lot of different ways in which you can do it. A lot of times people come and they ask me about, credit cards and things like that. There's credit cards, there's personal loans, there's all these different things that you can utilize, in order to build your credit. But the thing about it is, a lot of times the issue that people run into is when they go to apply for some of these things, whether it be a credit card or personal loan, things like that, more times than not, they get denied, of course, because they have no credit history. So the way that you have to build that is from scratch is you have to be able to offer something to the bank for them to basically, want to give you the loan or the credit card, whatever it is that you asked for. So the first easy step is getting something that's secure, whether that be a secure loan or a secure credit card. Now, what that means is that you're putting something as collateral, right? So there's unsecured and there's secured. Secured is the easiest route to obtain what you need to obtain, whether that be a personal loan of some sort or a credit card. So what getting a secured card or a loan means is go to the bank. Now, this is an example. You might go to the bank. Let's say you have some money in that bank. You want to get a credit card. You go in there, you talk to a banker, you let them know that you want to get a secured credit card. Let's say you have $1,000, $1,500 saved up in that bank. Could be more, could be less, whatever the situation is. You go in there, you tell a banker, I would like to get a secure credit card, for let's say a $500 limit. What they're gonna do is, if you have, let's say, for example, $1,500 saved up in that bank, they're gonna take $500 of that and use that as collateral and give you a $500 limit on a secure credit card. So basically, you're putting up your own money in order to get a credit card. So the credit card is backed in itself by your money, but that allows you to get approved rather than applying for an unsecured credit card that really has no backing on it, nothing like that, to where you're basically asking the bank to give you, a line of credit without any credit history, which is why people get denied. So if you go in there and actually put your own money up and basically give the amount to the bank that you're asking for on a credit limit, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna give it to you. Now, when you get that, you still have to treat it like a credit card of any sort, whether it's secured or unsecured. You still want to pay it on time. You still don't want to leave high limits on it. So let's say your limit is $500. You don't want to leave it at $500, $400, wherever the case may be. The key to credit cards, and the reason why a lot of times people get credit cards but it doesn't build their credit like they think it will do, is because they use it in a reckless manner. The key to credit cards and how it can help your credit is by keeping your credit utilization low. So what that means is, let's say, use an example for easy numbers, somebody gets a credit card that's a $1,000 limit on it. Well, with that $1,000 limit, you never want on your credit card statement for it to show that your balance is $900, $800, $950, or $1,000, which is maxed out. You never want that, because if your balance is at $900, that means your credit utilization is at 90%. You use 90% of that $1,000. What that tells the bank is that said person needs this money. You never want the bank to think that you need the money, which comes in a loan or a credit card, things like that. Because as long as your credit utilization is high, they'll never give you a better credit limit. They'll probably never give you another loan unless you're able to show, that you're able to keep, the amounts down and things like that. So the rule of thumb is you always want to keep your credit utilization at 30% or less at all times. Now, what I tell people is that doesn't mean you can't go swipe $900 on that same card at a time, but you always want to pay attention to when your statement date is. So let's say your statement date is the 30th of every month. You want to pay that $900 down before the 30th, so that when that credit card statement goes to the credit bureau, it's showing 300 out of 1,000, 400 out of 1,000, something of that sort. You don't want it to hit and say 900 out of 1,000, because now your credit utilization is at 90%. And if you do that a couple times, it might actually harm your credit a little bit, because you're overusing your credit, that's how they'll look at that. So now, another way to build credit from scratch. A lot of times I run into people, who have excess cash, excess assets, maybe that be cars that they own outright, have the titles to, right? But they don't have credit. One thing you can do is use those assets that you have as a way to obtain credit as well, or to build your credit. So for an example, I'll give you guys a personal example. When I was 17, there was a car that I wanted. It was a GXP. The dealership wanted $9,500 for it. I saved up the money, had the cash for it, went down, paid $9,500 for the car, got the title, everything like that, owned the car outright. But at the same time, wanted to build my credit. So what did I do? So I took the title to the car. I went to a credit union and told them that I want to secure a personal loan in order to start building my credit. Now, in order to do that, again, like I just told you guys before, I had to have some type of backing that will allow them to want to give me, especially at a young age, a personal loan of $9,500 in order to start building my credit. So what I did was I took the title to the car. Now, this only works if you have equity in whatever it is that you're trying to give the bank as collateral. So whether that be a home, I don't really advise using the house unless you absolutely have to. But if it's a car, let's say it's a car that you own that's worth $5,000. As long as you own that car outright and you don't own anything on it, or you owe less than the $5,000 on it, which means you have positive equity in that car or that asset. So you can take that to the bank and borrow against it. So for going back to my example, I had paid $9,500 for the car. The car was actually at the time worth about $11,000 to $12,000. So what I did was I went to the bank, showed them the car I had. They ran a Kelly Blue Book, seen the value of it, and told them that I wanted to get a $9,500 personal loan. So basically what they did was they approved the loan because I had collateral. I got back my $9,500 that I just spent, and then I just had a monthly payment on that. Now what the bank does is they put a lien on the car, so it's almost sort of like comparing that to paying a car payment, right? But on a personal loan, the rates are a lot better. They're a lot cheaper as far as interest goes than a said car payment or something like that. So when I got that personal loan, my payment ended up being about $120 to $130 a month. And I just paid it on time, sometimes paid it early, and built my credit up. And so by the time that was almost paid off a few years later, my credit was in the 700s at 19 years old. And so that's something that I have never really told people, but that's game I'm giving to you guys in order to realize that when you're riding around in these cars that you own and you got the titles to, but you want to build your credit and you don't really have any other ways to do it, you can go to the bank and put that car down as collateral. Now, a lot of times people say that they don't want to do that because people don't like car payments, don't like things like that. But the ultimate thing is that when it comes to building credit, you're going to have some payment of some sort, whether it's a credit card, whether it's a loan, something of that sort. So you might as well use your own collateral. Now, the thing about that is you don't never want to default on the loan or the credit card to where the bank's coming after you, because then if they have that car or whatever it is that you use as collateral, if you stop paying on that, go delinquent, something of that nature, they can come take that car from you, because it's almost, again, like I said, you paying the car payment. But that's another way to build credit, using assets, things like that, securing lines of credit, securing personal loans that a lot of people don't realize. So you don't always have to try to go buy a car to build your credit. You can actually use the car that you have, as long as you have positive equity in that car, and take that to the bank, use it as collateral to secure a personal loan. So securing a business loan. So again, that's something that's a lot trickier than what people realize, because a lot of times where people make the mistake is they tie their personal too much into their business, to where that should be two separate things. You can actually have a business credit score that is separate than your personal credit score. So you can have perfect credit on your personal, you can have perfect credit on your business, or vice versa, or you can have terrible personal credit and good business credit, or bad business credit and good personal credit, or you can have both good, bad, whatever the case may be. But the thing about it is you always want to keep those two things separate, because when it comes to business credit, that only relies on your business. So a lot of times to obtain business credit, a lot of banks will sometimes ask you to start with by applying, with your personal social security number, things like that. So that hurts people a lot of times, when they don't have perfect credit or good credit on their side as far as when it comes to their personal. So the thing you have to do is, when it comes to business credit, a lot of times people go and they apply with their personal. That's really not the right thing to do. What you want to do is, on the business end, you want to make sure, first of all, you have an LLC, S Corp, or the proper business license for whatever business type you have. And you want to make sure you get an EIN. A lot of times I run into people who don't have an EIN. What that is an employer identification number, or basically what that is also is, it's like a social security number, but it's for your business. You want to have that because that's what separates your business from your personal and so forth. So with your EIN number, a lot of times you can go to the bank, utilize the EIN number to start business credit. Again, we can talk about business loans, we can be talking about business credit cards, whatever the case may be. Now, of course, they might ask you for other proof of establishing your business, income within your business, something like that. So a lot of times it's harder to get right off the bat, but as long as you have your stuff up and going, a lot of times they'll give you something, even if it's at a lower rate as far as the amount on a loan or amount on a credit card. But you always want to at least get something to get it established. And as long as you practice good habits, they'll give you better rates and better credit limits, quicker. So the way to do that is, obviously you want to have all the legal paperwork right. You don't want to go in there with anything fraudulent or anything like that. But once you have all of that right, have income coming in within the business, you use your EIN number, and you go to the bank and you let them know that you want to use your EIN number. A lot of times people get tricked. They go in there, they want to secure things for their business, but they don't realize that they're doing it in the personal aspect. Meaning that if you go in there and you apply for a loan, in your head you might be saying, I want to use this money to start my business, or I want to use this money to invest in products for a business that I want to start. But if you go in there and you secure a personal loan on that, it's still going on your personal credit. So you want to go in there and let them know you have a business, you have an EIN number, and that you want to start building, your business credit. And also, so this is some free game also for people who have clothing lines. I know a lot of my followers, a lot of my guys, a lot of the men and women that I hang around or that I'm cool with, they have clothing lines. When you guys have vendors, when you guys are going to these vendors consistently, whether it's weekly, monthly, whatever situation may be, make sure you have a vendor that reports to the Business Credit Bureau. Why? The reason for that is an easy way to build business credit without even having to worry about business lines of credit or business credit cards. So let's say, for instance, I don't have a clothing line, but let's say I did. And let's say I have a vendor who I order 250 to 300 shirts from every month, right? And I pay them money on time, all these different things. Now, that's a good thing to have. That's a good relationship to have. But that's not helping my business in the sense of business credit if that vendor does not report to the Business Credit Bureau. So when you're looking out for vendors, so this might be people who already have, clothing lines, or people who don't. But if you're looking to get in that field, when you're looking for vendors, make sure that the vendors that you are talking to, you ask them, do you report to the Business Credit Bureau? If they say no, that might not be the vendor you want to go to. Not to say that you can't utilize them, but you want to have something in your business that, whether you're getting product from them or something that you use within your business that you're paying for, you want to have somebody that's reporting to the Business Credit Bureau, because that is a way to build business credit without even really having to worry about the banks. So yes, you can get an EIN as a sole proprietor. You can get that as an LLC. You can get that as an S Corp. You can get that in any form of business. If you are in business, you always want to get an EIN, because that is the way that you can make sure that you have your personal separate than your business. Because if you're going and utilizing your social security number for all your business transactions, you're really not conducting it in a business manner. You're conducting it in a personal manner, and that's how it's going to be looked at. So you might have a loan that was strictly for your business, but it's still on your personal credit. So it's not necessarily helping your business credit any factor. Now, if you got a personal loan and using it for your business and it's actually building your credit, that can help you, because again, like I said, a lot of times when you're going to obtain things for your business, such as credit cards and things like that, sometimes they will look at your personal credit score. So that can help in that aspect, but you always want to have those two things separate. So you've heard me talking about EINs. How do you go about getting an EIN? So whether you're in Illinois, Missouri, Atlanta, whatever state, city you're in, always go to your state website in order to file your business first. That's the first step. So whether, again, like your S Corp, LLC, whatever type of business entity that you are, you always go to the state website and you just type in, you can type in LLC or one of those keywords, and it'll take you to where you need to be to file your business with the state. So let's say it's an LLC. You go on there, you type in articles of organization. That's normally for any state, that's what's gonna pop up as far as when you're establishing an LLC or something of that sort. So you go in there and you type in articles of organization. When you type in articles of organization, that's gonna show you what you need to do, the steps you need to take. Now, a lot of times, for example, for Illinois, you go in there, you type in articles of organization, it's gonna take you to a page, you click file. From there, you just follow the steps. You go on there, let's say if you wanna start an LLC, go on there, you tell them you wanna be an LLC, they'll ask you how many members, you put all the information as far as the business address, people who are involved in it, people who have ownership in it, what type of business it is, what type of products it's gonna offer, so on and so forth. Then you go on there and you pay the payment, of course. So I think right now it's about $160, something like that. You can get it expedited. It's going to be a lot more if you want to do that, but you pay the fee. Once you have your articles of organization, now you actually have an LLC. The state will send you the documents. They'll email them and mail them to you, the documents that you might need. And then from there, you go on to the IRS website. Now, when you go onto the IRS website, you're going to type in the name of your LLC or your corporation, whatever it is, and then you're going to go on the IRS website, type in that you want to get an EIN. They're going to take you, again, follow the key directions. They're going to take you to a page where you're going to file for an EIN. An EIN, also let this be known, an EIN is free. So if you have people who are telling you that they can help you get your EIN, or they can help you do this and help you do that, and they're charging you for EIN, do not utilize that person. The EIN is absolutely free. So you go to the IRS website, let them know you're trying to get an EIN, you type in all your business information, and they will actually give you an EIN number. It's usually within actually the first 24 to 48 hours that you will have that number and be able to utilize that number. Huh? It's your cameo, man. Behind the lens with Juice. That's who I bumped into.
Hey.
We talking about credit today, man. You got some advice for credit?
Ooh, credit. Just don't go out here getting credit cards, spending them like it's free money.
I heard that.
Yeah. I got taught about credit when I was young. Shout out to Pops.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
I didn't really touch on that. Establish credit for your kids at a young age. Now, of course, your credit has to be good in order to do that. But if you have good habits, utilizing the feature of being able to add your kids as authorized users.
Exactly. So, yeah, he put me on game early. So, don't go out here spending on stuff that you really don't need on a credit card.
Or money that you don't have.
Or money that you don't have. When I first got a credit card, I only spent money on gas on it. I paid it off, paid in full every month. I didn't do it.
To do what? What does that do?
To build credit.
And keep your credit utilization low.
Yep.
That's what people don't understand.
What's up, man?
Look, something like, sure.
Diamond. Switch your diamond. What up?
How does it benefit a motherfucker knowing your business if it ain't nothing positive?
Right.
Here for it. Let's see what y'all talking about. You can't move.
Say yourself, not your soul. Let's move.
It's over.
I don't got that one.
Nobody
This is the type of shit they be on.
I see me. I picked these up Sunday.
I see you.
I ain't seen you. I ain't coming to
You got my number? Ooh. He usually,
I did post.
He usually call me and say, hey, I got something for you.
I do still got the track.
See what I'm saying?
You never responded back. The black and orange.
How I never responded?
I told you.
I thought it, you already know I wanted. I thought it was.
We got to fight. I still got it for you.
Yeah, okay, bet. I'm gonna get
I still got it for you.